would a failure, would the crisis of the wealth crisis on the African continent be due to a lack of Africans working together? Would you say this?
Yes. Because if for instance, if after independence, Africa had come under one united Africa, what's going on today would not happen.
Okay. So then unity has a lot of the solution in it, and individuality has none of the solution in it.
It has chaos.
Correct?
Individuality have chaos.
Yeah. So now the Europeans clearly have unity because they're able to execute their goals and their aims and acquire wealth, right? And we function as individual entities, fragments, and it's like, I compare it to an ant negotiating with an elephant, right? And that ant is like so small and the elephant is so massive, and you know, the negotiations, the elephant might be able to say, you know what, I have more weight, I have more mass. You might not have the negotiation tactics to be able to overcome that elephant's, right?
Yes.
So, but if it was a whole colony of ants working together versus an elephant negotiating, if negotiation turns south, do you believe that the elephants could ride, the elephants and the ants could go together and the ants might be victorious, right?
Possibly.
Because of their ability to work together.
Yes, because of the ability to work together, yes.
So working together and wealth has a lot in common.
Yes, but although we have, I say, the understanding or lack of understanding, there is still interference in unification of Africa.
There will always be interference, my brother, because
but we must have the will.
If we look at North Korea, for example, right, there is interference in North Korea day and night. If we look at Iran, there's interference in Iran. If we look at even China that's united and they're Taiwan, there's interference, right? Interference is something you cannot get away from, right? Because you're dealing with an external entity, and that external entity has its own will, its own might, its own its own approach to understanding the greater schemes of life, right? And there's this saying in the organic African paradigm which says, it's your, let me see if I can find this saying here. This saying is very, very, it highlights everything that we need to say. It's your enemy's job to exploit your weaknesses. It's your job to have none.
Yes.
Is this a fair understanding of it?
Of course, that's a fair assessment. Yes, very fair understanding. Fair understanding.
Your job is to have no weakness, and your enemy's job is to exploit that weakness no matter what. So if the foreigners are exploiting our weaknesses, then that means that we haven't done our job to have no weaknesses.
True.
Correct?
Correct,
so,
that's true. Yeah.
Now, let's build wealth together, right? We talked about wealth giving you ability, giving you means, right? And doing it together, building it together specifically gives you that ability to negotiate with empires, with bigger entities, but you don't just negotiate, you have power to make decisions, right?
Economical power, yes.
So political mass, political weight. So that's why you chose does this have anything to do with why you chose Let's Build Wealth Together?
It has a variety of reasons, yes.
Okay. So you were thinking in the long term, you were thinking of something.
A long term and a broader vision as well.
Okay. So you wanted Africans to have power, economical power, and all those type of stuff, right?
Because I think when we look at, for instance, in the West, let's look at just the West, the US, UK, Europe. Because although we are the biggest spenders, by no doubt we are the biggest spenders, we contribute to their wealth. They still have no respect for us. It's because that wealth is not collective wealth. It's individual wealth. So we do not have an impact in the economy because we must buy from them. A shadow of doubt. We must contribute. But if that wealth was collective wealth, then they would have to have respect to us because if we say we're withdrawing our wealth.
So
Then
having that power over your wealth.
Yes, we have
and
the power
having
over
that
our own
ability
wealth. If we say,
it requires mobilization and synchronization, right?
Of course.
You need to be able to get everybody to agree with one thought, one speech, and one action, right?
One common purpose, yes.
Like we say in the organic African paradigm, we call it the application of power, meaning to apply power. The only way to properly apply power is to do it through everybody thinking the same way, everybody speaking the same way, and then everybody acting the same way when it comes to an executive action. That means that an executive action, so one person cannot have a divergency against this. One person cannot be opposed to it, because it's kind of that loophole where one person is opposed, one person has a negative feeling towards it. Is when Europeans, other people come in, they see the weakness, they exploit the weakness. They create that, they ferment that division or that divergence in opinions and views or understanding. They ferment that divergency, and then they create instability, right? We see this in Nigeria, where they fermented a disagreement, and then that disagreement escalated to a problem. They fermented. That's what they do.
Yes.
So mobilization and synchronization is key when we talk about let's build wealth together. That means people need to work together, and people need to speak with think with one thought,
one voice,
speak with one voice, and act with one action. Yes. This is called the application of power in the organic African paradigm. It allows you to mobilize and synchronize. So let's build wealth together right now needs the application of power, which will get people to come together, Africans to come together. So the next question here we have to ask is, should wealth matter to African people globally? I think you already clarified it, but should it matter? What if we chose not to get wealth? What if we said we don't want wealth? What will happen to us if we choose not to acquire wealth?
It's a question that we kind of ignored. It's a question that we cannot, it's a thought we cannot ignore, or thought that we cannot put aside, because if we do not acquire wealth as a people and to contribute to our own motherland, the land of our ancestors, then that land will be perished to us as a people. And if it's perished to us as a people, who are we? And where we're going to belong as a people?
Yeah, that's a serious, heavy one right there, because we have to come to face to that question. What will happen to us when we no longer have the ability, we don't have the wealth to stand up for ourselves, to do things? What will become of our children? So though you're right, that's a very, very serious question. So wealth does matter, correct? Wealth,
it does matter, yes.
It very much matter to the African people globally.
Because if we look at for the different races, it matters, and they work as a collective.
That is true.
To create wealth. So therefore,
it matters to the Chinese, it matters to Singapore, it matters to Japan, it matters to Dubai. Yep, you're right.
The Jews, the Asians, matters.
Yeah.
Therefore, you're
very much right.
Therefore, we as a people need to self-analyze ourselves in a broader way, collective way.
Okay.
Not in the selfish European or colonizing way, but bring back the spirit of Ubuntu to our people.
True. So the next question for you is, what is the difference between individual wealth and group wealth? Because the reason I ask you this question, right, we have to kind of know the difference first. So we know what you're talking about versus what other people have in their bank accounts. So can you please tell us the difference between individual wealth and group wealth?
Well, currently we are saying individual wealth. We have Black billionaires,
True.
Millionaires.
True.
But what we are as a people, what's happening in the motherland currently. So individual wealth means nothing to me, because that wealth could be taken, it can pass from one race to another, individual wealth. And we see it happening because if you look at all the athletes, their partners are opposite.
Yeah.
And then their children go to back to that same.
That transgenerational goes towards the Europeans rather.
It goes back to the Europeans. So
I
individual
see.
wealth does not sustain us as a people.
I see.
But if we have collective wealth as a community, and we learn to contribute to one another's businesses, support one another, build trust within our people, then that wealth will sustain for generation and generation to come.
Okay. So that's a clear distinction between group and individual wealth, as you guys have heard. But I got to ask you again, though, because doesn't the continent have, we African people globally have millionaires and billionaires, right? Because Aligote, Degote, all these other people, they have billions of dollars.
Yes.
We have Jay-Z, we have Beyonce. Isn't that enough accomplishment for the Black race? Haven't we proven ourselves as a wealthy people? Is it matter that every Black person should have access to wealth, or should we just have billionaires and be happy? Can we just be happy with millionaires and billionaires as opposed to everybody having access to wealth? Can't we just be happy with that?
How do those individuals' wealth benefit our people?
We celebrate them. You know, we say we have Jay-Z, we celebrate Jay-Z, we celebrate Beyonce, we celebrate Digote, but you know, should we all
I have respect, but I don't celebrate, but I have respect.
Okay.
But yeah, but I don't celebrate.
But
because there's the greater, when we look at the continent itself, or even the Caribbean, or even here in the UK or US, what is the percentage of poverty? What is the percentage of poverty and the percentage of those that has individual wealth?
Vast percentage of poverty as in contrast to individual wealth.
Okay, so why should we celebrate those individual wealth?
So we shouldn't be content with having billionaires and millionaires. Rather, we should be more content with having access to for everybody. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. If collectively there's wealth within a community, that community can sustain itself, and that community could stay. Because what's happening right now in the continent? We have our brothers that or sisters that taking the risk to cross the ocean, die in the ocean. If they had access in the continent itself, do you think they would take those risks?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
so.
So and then
if there was community wealth, then that community would have businesses to sustain our brothers and sisters, to get jobs and a decent way of living. Is it not?
So community wealth is what is valuable in terms of what we should celebrate, what we should market, what we should put forth to everyone should be aspiring for is community wealth. You know, and the individual wealth should not be something, because we do have individual wealth, which is Ali Dekote, Akon, all these type of people, Jay-Z, Beyonce, all types of Black billionaires across the world, right? But what you're saying is like that doesn't really alleviate the poverty, the struggle, the hardship we face. None of that contributes to any of the solutions we have. What contributes to the solution is community building together and having that amount of billions of dollar capital. So like a community having $1 billion capital or a society having $1 billion capital is better as opposed to an individual having $1 billion capital. Is this what you're saying?
Yeah, community wealth allow us to build banks, schools, supermarkets, hospital, roads, farming. Also, community wealth allows us to do those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's pretty good. You've touched that question. So now let's go to the next question here. I think we go to what is the difference between an individual wealth, a family wealth, a community wealth, a society wealth, and a collective wealth. I just gave you 5 dimensions of human existence. So human existence It's 5 dimensions: individual, family, society, community, society, and collective. Those are 5 dimensions. Each of them scales at a different mass, right?
Okay, okay.
So the individual is a smaller mass. Part of the family is another mass, which is a little bit larger. The community is the next layer, and then the society is the next layer. And now the collective is the next layer. Now you're talking to the African continent, right? So you're not just talking to the individual, you're talking to the family, the community, the collective, and all the different societies, and you're talking to all of them, right? So now I wanted you to tell them the differences, because some of them might not be thinking what you're thinking. They might just be thinking, I want wealth in Ghana. I don't want wealth in I don't care about wealth in Togo. I don't care about wealth in Nigeria. That's not my country. That's not my nation. What I care about is wealth in Gambia, right? Some of them might be thinking like that. Or I just want wealth for my tribe, right? So I want you to scale wealth from the 5 dimensions which I just gave you in terms of power, capability, ability, and all that stuff. What do you think? What is your, how would you explain this to the people to convince them that a tribal wealth is not equal to a collective wealth? What would you say to the 5 dimensions of human existence?
Okay, for individual wealth, to start with individual wealth, well, one cannot, to be honest, one cannot achieve individual wealth by oneself, because we are an extension of each other.
True.
And therefore we contribute to that individual wealth.
True.
Family wealth is where I think is educational wealth, educational and financial and spiritual wealth. As a family, all 3 aspects must be achieved as a family. So that's the difference between individual wealth, where individual collect wealth just for themselves, yes, and focuses on a selfish manner, focuses to just gain and gain and gain more wealth for themselves, and do not think or contribute to the rest of society. Yes.
Okay.
For collective and society wealth, I think, or tribal. You talk about tribal wealth. Let me talk about tribal wealth first, because in I think I would like to say in ancient or near ancient, there are tribal wealth or tribal communities, and those tribal communities was enslaved. Some of them was enslaved and colonized.
Okay.
So we have to understand that as individual or as families or tribal, we cannot look at wealth in that basis. Wealth have to be focused on the basis of community and society. Our society. When I talk about society, I talk about the Black society.
Okay.
So therefore, we cannot think of wealth just for Ghana or just for Nigeria or just for Togo. We have to look wealth across the 54 states of Africa, so under one umbrella, under one tree.
That would be collective wealth, the
collective
highest
wealth.
scale.
Yes, yes.
So having the highest scale of collective wealth is something that can keep you from being overpowered by greater nations or more military nations. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay,
it will give us access. It will give us access to certain things, which don't really want to go into.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
But it will
that's
give
fine.
us access. Yes, it will give us access. Yeah.
Okay, so then we understand that the scale of wealth and the value of wealth really depends on the collective. The collective gives you the most ability to survive in the in the organic African paradigm. We have a system called the 5 dimension of completing the self, right? So the 5 dimension of completing the self talks about wealth. It talks about how wealth is earned through working for it. When we earn that wealth, this is called the results. And when we have those results, we are told, instead of spending that result right away, dispensing it, go into the bar, go shopping, you should invest that wealth into something called to give continuation. And once that wealth is being continuation, you have to establish longevity in the wealth. You have to start thinking about long-term building of the wealth. And then finally, you need to achieve sustainability. So 5 dimension for you to attain complete wealth. That's what we say in the organic African paradigm. Is this something that you agree with, or you see as a metrics for African people to be able to understand wealth, that they should work for it, and when they get their result, they don't go and dispense their result right away to become customers and consumers. Rather, they go to the continuation stage. After the continuation stage, they should seek longevity, then go to the sustainability. When they have 5 of those stages in their wealth, they have attained actual long-term wealth. Is this something that you agree with as a method of teaching wealth?
It is, and it is also what we have implemented, the policies and the procedures we have implemented in Let's Build Wealth Together, to give the community access to build wealth, but also to have wealth continuation, wealth sustainability as well.
Okay. All right. So thank you for that. Now we're going to talk about Let's Build Wealth Together. So we wanted to get that out of the way. Now we are going to talk about Let's Build Wealth Together. So I need you to pull up the website if you have the website on your screen, or I can pull it up the web page, and then we will pull up the web page.
Okay.
First thing you're going to do is you're going to
you want me to pull it up, brother?
Yeah. Do you want me to pull it up? It's up to you.
I'll pull it up. It's fine.
Yeah, and then or I can, you can put it in the chat. I can click it, and then I'll just hit the share button.
Okay. I'll do so.
Okay, put it in the chat. I will click it, and then I will hit the share button. Okay. Okay.
No, it has a problem. Hold on, brother. It's not. Sorry.
You know what? I have it up. Don't worry about it. I have it. Let me share it. Okay.
Okay.
So what are we looking at right now? Tell me, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us, the audience, what are they looking at right now?
They're looking at building wealth, building Africa.
Okay. I don't know if they can see the screen. So let's see. Can you guys see the screen? Let me ask people in the chat if they can see the screen. If you're watching, can you see the screen, guys? Can you see the screen? Brother, can you see the screen?
I can see the screen. Not sure if we have
We
viewers.
want to make sure that they can see the screen, the people that are watching. Okay, but you can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see your screen, brother.
So hopefully it'll be showing on the YouTube channel. I hope so. Give me one sec. We have to make sure that that's what's happening. Okay, yeah, I see it. It's good. Thank you. Okay, you're going to navigate me through this website, okay? So this is the home base of Let's Build Wealth Together community, right?
Yes, that is, yes.
Okay, so let's say I just log on. I'm a new person to the Let's Build Wealth Together community. What am I looking at? Well, tell me about your community. What is Let's Build Wealth Together? What do you do? What are you building? What is your system, your structure? I'm just going to let you go ahead and tell us everything about this website.
Okay, so Let's Build Wealth Together is about a peer-to-peer investment platform. Peer-to-peer means that we are building wealth as a collective, and through peer-to-peer, one individual gains the opportunity of transgenerational wealth or wealth. And from that wealth, we will invest as a community as well. So one will get passive income of wealth from the peer-to-peer through investment and also through education and mentoring as well.
You know what, brother? Let's do it this way. I want you to pull up your presentation, okay, and I'm going to make you the host. I want you to pull up your presentation. You're going to go into your presentation for a few minutes, okay, if you don't mind. Would you mind doing that?
No, I don't mind, brother. Fine.
Okay, so let me make you the host. If you have your presentation available, go ahead and do a few minutes of your presentation. Just kind of get the people going. Okay, you don't have to go into the full presentation, but give them 5 minutes of the presentation, and then we'll go to the website, and then we'll be able to talk how they can contact you, how they can, if they're interested in. Is that fair?
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Yes. Okay. Can you see my screen, brother?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to start here, the presentation. It is our mission to try to merge all the Pan-Africanist group under one tree. Many branches where Wealth Together Limited and Let's Build Wealth Together focuses on wealth building for all the branches. And so Wealth Together Let's Build Wealth Together will be the root of the tree. And Let's Build Wealth Together and the Organic African Paradigm has merged under that one tree. And the Organic African Paradigm focuses on the decolonization of the mind. So who we are? So Let's Build Wealth Together is a social impact peer-to-peer investing platform whose mission is to facilitate wealth building in the Black community globally by providing exclusive access to a high quality financial products and services that produce measurable social impact to our people. That is our mission, our vision. You still there, brother?
Yes. Do you want me to ask you any questions about it?
It is up to you, brother. If you'd like to ask
go back to the last slide. I want to ask you a question. Go back to the last slide, if you don't mind.
Yes. Who we are. Yes.
Okay. You said who we are. Let's Build Wealth Together is a social impact peer-to-peer investing platform whose mission is to facilitate wealth building in the Black community globally by providing exclusive access to high quality financial products and service that produce measurable social impact. Now we're going to dissect this here. I hope you don't mind.
I do not mind, brother. I do not mind.
So peer-to-peer investment platform. I want to know what that is. What is this peer-to-peer investment platform?
So okay, so the peer-to-peer is basically one, we are investing collectively, peer-to-peer giving to one another. That's what peer-to-peer means. And then, so that's what it is, peer-to-peer. So we have created a system, a compounding system of 2 with teams of 15 members. Okay. So, and through that teams of 15 members, one generate through the different stages where they have 3 stages in the system and 10 levels in the system.
Okay.
And I believe that was the easiest system to create for our people to give them the foundation of wealth building.
So I heard 3 stages and 10 levels. Is that accurate?
That is accurate, yes. So the system
Okay.
has 3 stages, 10 levels. So stage 1 has level 1 to level 4. And
Okay,
stage 2
so
have 5 to 7 and 8 to 10 level, the final stage. Yeah.
stage 1 level, what levels are in stage 1?
Level 1 to 4. So level 1 is when a member joins the community.
Okay, so you have stage 1, right? You have 3
Yes.
stages, stage 1. Let's start with stage 1.
Yes.
Okay,